Come on, honey, let's go.
Billy, please, I can't.
Sure you can. Sure you can. I'll be right there with you, just like I promised.
Please, Billy.
Sarah?
I don't want to do this.
Sarah, don't make me force you.
I can't.
Honey, she's dead. She's dead. It's been over 15 years. You gotta let go of it. Come on. All right. Was it around here that it happened? Okay. Now I want you to take the wheel, just like you did then.
No, Billy.
Come on, Sarah.
No,
take
I
it.
can't.
Sarah, take the wheel.
I can't.
Okay. Can you see what I'm doing here? All right. See that? It's up to you. You take the wheel or we're both dead. It's up to you.
Billy!
I know you can do it, babe. I know you can do it.
I want to celebrate. I want champagne. Lots of champagne.
You want to go down to the city or you want to go to the lodge?
The lodge. That way we'll be closer to home after dinner and we can build the fire in our room.
That sounds great.
Oh, Billy. I've never been so happy.
When they said it wouldn't last. Hey, come to think of it, even you weren't too sure.
I was just afraid you'd miss the limelight, all those groupies on the circuit.
Well, those groupies, they were kind of nice. Okay, nice. No, they weren't nice. They weren't nice. I'm a has-been. I'm an official tennis bum. My groupie days are long gone.
You better be, because I ain't ever letting go of you.
Attaboy, Billy! It's like you made a real woman out of her.
What are you doing home so early? I thought you were at work.
Oh, I'm resigning. I'm not cut out to be a mining executive. But if you and Billy swing that deal to start a ski resort, you let me know. I think that's more my speed.
It could be a long time from now, Skip.
Hey, I'm in no hurry. I'm not going anywhere.
Yes, you are, Skip. I thought we agreed if you work for the company, you'll be paid a regular salary. You can even stay here until you can find a place of your own. But you just can't live here with us indefinitely.
Is that any way to treat family? There's not that many of us left, Cousin Sarah.
Lay off.
I suppose I have you to thank for these new regulations, huh, Billy boy?
It's Sarah's decision.
Right.
It's so hard for me to do that.
You sure you want to do this?
Positive.
Okay. Hey, looks like the hooks are still on the wall. Did you make it a snap?
Yeah?
Okay, that's got it. Okay, that looks level to me. Level to you?
Yes.
Okay. Thanks, Hans. You sure you're all right?
Yeah, it's just gonna take a little getting used to, that's all.
I am not your uncle, young lady. I let you try my patience out of choice, not family tie. PerryMason, I'd like you to meet my ward, Sarah Wingate Travis.
Mr. Mason, I heard you were coming to Uncle Walter's retirement party this weekend.
I wouldn't have missed it for the world.
I'd like you to meet my husband, Billy Travis.
Yes, hello.
Oh.
I remember seeing you a couple of years back at Forest Hills.
Did I win or did I lose?
You won.
Must have been an early round. Never made it past the quarterfinals there. Nice to meet you.
Well, Billy's given up tennis for resort development. You look lovely tonight, Sarah.
Thank you.
You're a lucky man, Billy.
I know.
Very nice meeting you both.
Thank you.
You want another one?
Yeah.
Let's have another one.
Yes, sir.
Okay.
What are we celebrating now?
How about each other?
Okay.
Really?
Lisa, Mr. Travis would like another bottle of champagne.
Hal, cover for me, huh? This one's special delivery. How are you tonight, Mr. Travis?
I'm fine, thanks. And so's the wine.
Excuse me. Well, aren't you going to try it?
I already have. Look, why don't you just leave the bottle? I'll pour it myself.
Sure. Should I be jealous?
Lisa, that was a long, long time ago. You don't have to be jealous of anybody. Okay? Okay.
Yeah, I hope it's not too late. I've got some checks in here that need to be signed right away.
Can't wait until morning.
That's government stuff. You know, if we don't get them out right away, I'll be paying some pretty stiff penalties.
You know, why is it always the last minute?
You're the one that's got Sarah co-signing all the checks. Nothing but time and extra trouble.
Well, you'll get used to it.
Oh, Billy, it's all right. It's all right.
Excuse me, Mr. Travis. Your brother called a few minutes ago. He'd like you to call him back.
Where is he?
The bar at the lodge.
Excuse me, honey. I'll get into the study.
How are you, Sarah?
I've never been happier, Doug. I thought you said something about needing some signatures.
Yeah. You're not gonna let him do it, are you?
Do what?
Sell the mine. Skip said Billy had you talked into getting out of the business altogether.
You'll have to talk to Billy about that.
And that'll mean new management. What happens to me?
I interrupt something?
Yeah.
Listen, honey, I'm really sorry, but I'm gonna go on for a little while.
What does Frank want this time?
Nothing, really. We'll talk about it later, okay? Are you gonna be all right?
Yeah, I'll be fine. Doug's leaving now, too. Do you want me to wait up for you?
Well, it's gonna take a little while, but sure, I want you to wait up for me.
never would have gone out and left you here alone like that.
Good night, Tote.
Good night, Sarah.
Good night.
So, I ran into a little difficulty with this Manny guy that I've been telling you about. And all I need is enough to get Manny off my back for a little while. I know I can make this new deal work. I know it.
Frank, it sounds great. It's just that I can't come up with that kind of money.
I'm not asking you for a handout. You know me, I've never done that. But, look, you're my brother. I got no one else I can go to on this thing.
I'm sorry, Frank. I just can't do it. All right, look, I can come up with a couple thousand cash, but you're into Manny and those gamblers for big bucks. Now, I just can't get it from Sarah again.
You could if you wanted to. I put the best part of my life into teaching you how to handle yourself, showing you the ropes, managing your tennis career. Doesn't that count for anything now?
No, I never told you this before, but you put the best part of your life in a shot glass. Or the poker games. Or the ponies. Frank, man, I'm sorry, but things are different now, you know? I'm married. Sarah's got to come first. I just don't know what else I can tell you.
How about goodbye?
He'll be back. Frank's like me. He always comes back.
What's that?
Margarita. Just the way I used to make them for you in Acapulco, remember?
No, thanks. I don't drink those anymore.
Maybe you forgot the taste.
Oh, God. Sarah? Sarah. Sarah, I know how hurt you're feeling. And I know how it looked. But you gotta believe me, it was her play, not mine.
I'm really very tired, Billy. Can we please just go to sleep?
Okay. I love you.
Looking for your sister? This is where it all happened, isn't it? I know all about it. Now it's your turn.
I'm checking the ridge line. Hikers reported Deer Creek Trail has a rock slide in marker 3.2.
Hello?
You'll find Sarah in the lake.
What? Who is this? Sarah? Sarah?
We got a call. Said there was some trouble.
Sheriff, it's my wife.
What happened?
I don't know what happened, but she's out there somewhere.
Mr. Travis. Too dark, too cold, and too deep for him to find anything in that water.
Isn't there anything we can do?
A drag boat coming in this afternoon, but I don't expect they'll have much luck. Everybody knows this lake's reputation for not giving up its bodies. I don't think we'll ever find your wife, Mr. Travis. She's down there now, just like her sister. I got some questions for you. Like this handkerchief. These are your initials, aren't they?
Yeah.
I also want to know how you got that blood on your pants there.
recognize the caller's voice?
No, I was still half asleep. I can't even tell you if it was a man or a woman. All I know is that they whispered words. You'll find Sarah in the lake.
So you went to the lake?
Yeah. Yeah, I didn't know what to think. When I got there, I found her car was empty and her shoe and her scarf floating in the water. I didn't know. I didn't know. I thought maybe she...
Suicide?
Yeah.
But the sheriff got there just in time to see you rowing to shore, alone. But he also received an anonymous phone call from someone who was whispering.
I could never have hurt Sarah. Never. But somebody sure went out of their way to make it look like I did.
Somebody, Billy. Now we're going to find that somebody.
All rise. Division 2 of the Superior Court of Buckner County is now in session. The Honorable Howard J. McGraw presiding. Be seated and come to order.
Does the defendant want a formal reading of the complaint, Mr. Mason?
My client will waive a formal reading, Your Honor.
Mr. Reston?
That's fine with me, Your Honor.
Very well, gentlemen. I'll set this for Thursday, the 21st. Do you have a bail motion, Mr. Mason?
Why, yes, Your Honor. We,
Your Honor. The defendant has only lived in this jurisdiction for a number of months, and he has no ties sufficient to ensure his making his next court appearance.
Mr. Mason?
Your Honor, the prosecutor has accused my client of murdering his wife in order to acquire her rather substantial fortune. Using his own argument, it's not reasonable to assume that Billy Travis would now run away, thereby proving his guilt and throwing away millions of dollars.
I'll set bail at $300,000, Mr. Mason. You can take care of the arrangements with my clerk. We're in recess.
All rise.
I've seen the evidence, Mr. Mason. You've drawn a losing card, I think.
Game's not over yet, counsel. Not yet.
Perry, I'm so glad I caught you. Here's the background material you wanted.
Oh, Billy, this is Della Street. She runs my office.
It's a pleasure to meet you.
Billy Travis, Perry and I have watched you play many times.
I was just going to take Billy home. I'm not sure when I'll get back. Why don't you and Paul dig up what you can on the old kidnapping case?
The old case? You think there's a connection between Sarah's disappearance and Amy's disappearance?
I'm not quite sure what I think, but I am intrigued by the coincidence. We'll see you.
Oh, you know, Paul, as soon as I have a chance, I want to get in touch with Vi.
Who's Vi?
Vi Denslow, my old school chum.
Oh, that Vi, yes.
Remember, I always wanted you to meet her daughter, the librarian.
Librarian? How exciting.
Stupid. Hey, look, this is empty. Better get us some beers. Don't go away. Oh. Look who's back. How was jail?
How can you be partying at a time like this?
Man, how can you show your face after what you did?
You must be Mr. Wingate. My name's Mason.
Oh, yeah. I heard you took the case from old man Hazlitt. I can't understand why.
I'd be happy to explain it, if you have the time.
I'm sorry. As you can see, I'm wrapped up.
Mr. Mason. He'd like to ask you a few questions, if you don't mind.
Yes, what is it?
The morning Mrs. Travis drove to the lake, did you see or hear any other cars around the property?
No.
But you did hear Mrs. Travis' car leaving?
No.
But the garage is right there. Surely the sound of a car
Mrs.
starting...
Travis came back from the village that night and left the car out in front. I'm sorry, Mr. Travis. I was already in bed. I didn't go out to put it away.
Hans?
Yes?
Your phone is ringing. You miss it?
You know, sometimes I play old matches over and over again in my head when I'm sleeping. Guess it'll always be a part of me.
Have you given up playing?
Had to. 2 operations on the shoulder. It was worse than when I first wrecked it.
I'm sorry to hear that. Della said you were looking for me.
Mr. Mason, I got a call from Frank this morning.
Well, did he say where he was?
No, he wouldn't tell me. All I could get from him was that some leg breaker from Las Vegas almost caught up with him last night. This guy must have scared Frank pretty bad. He said he was going to get lost for a little while.
Did Frank ever spend any time with Lisa Blake?
Frank and Lisa? Why? What are you thinking?
Well, she seems to have left town just about the time Frank dropped out of sight. How long has Frank known Lisa?
We both met Lisa in Acapulco when I was there for a tournament. It was 5 or 6 years ago. She'd show up around the circuit every now and then after that. But I always figured it was me she came to see, not Frank.
All right, what about you and Lisa?
Wait a minute, Mr. Mason. I gave up Lisa and that whole world when I met Sarah. As far as I was concerned, Sarah and I were going to be married forever. I got to get going.
Billy.
Thank you. I really thought Frank would show up for this.
Why didn't he?
You're still thinking he's involved in this with Lisa?
All rise. Division 2 of the Superior Court of Buckner County is now in session.
Now, Sheriff, I show you People's Exhibit number 5, man's handkerchief. Have you seen it before?
Yes, sir. One of my deputies found it hidden under a pile of leaves just back of where the defendant was parked at the lake.
Were you able to establish ownership of this handkerchief?
I was. There's a monogram on it with the defendant's initials. We traced it to the store in the village where he bought it.
Your Honor, for the record, this handkerchief is covered with dried bloodstains.
The record will so reflect, Mr. Reston.
Thank you. Sheriff, were you able to determine the source of the bloodstains?
Yes, sir. Laboratory analysis showed it to be human blood type B negative.
The same blood type as the victim, Sarah Travis?
That's correct.
Thank you. Sheriff, could you identify for me, please, for the record, People's Exhibits numbers 6 and 7?
Number 6 is a scarf belonging to the victim that was found in the defendant's possession the morning his wife disappeared.
The bloodstains on this scarf, are they similar to those on the handkerchief?
They are.
And People's Exhibit 7, this pair of pants worn by the defendant on that morning. The bloodstains on this pair of pants, are they similar to the stains on the scarf and the handkerchief?
They are.
Thank you, Sheriff. For the record, I show you People's 8. Can you identify it?
It's a woman's shoe. We found it in the rowboat just after the defendant had rowed to shore.
And were you able to determine who it belongs to?
Yes, sir. It's the left shoe of a pair specially ordered for the victim by a store in the village.
Thank you, Sheriff. No further questions.
That's all true.
Their truth, Billy. But we also have your truth. Sheriff Prine, you watched Mr. Travis as he rowed back to shore, did you not?
Yes, sir.
Could you describe for us his style or manner of rowing?
Well, I'd kind of call it, kind of crab-like.
Crab-like? Meaning what?
Well, as I recollect, he was rowing mostly with one arm. The left one, I believe. While with his right, he was sort of stabbing at the water.
Far from being rhythmic or smooth, his technique was unusual, to say the least.
Yes, it was.
Thank you, Sheriff Prine. No further questions.
Mrs. Cheney said you wanted to see me, Mr. Mason? What's it about?
Lisa Blake? You and Lisa Blake.
Me? You got the wrong guy. Sure, I noticed her, but I haven't had time to get around to her yet.
Is that right? You have quite a reputation as a ladies' man.
You know, you're wasting your time. Everybody knows Billy married my cousin for her money. And he's the only one that has anything going on with Lisa. Now he's going to be convicted of murder.
Which would agree with you mightily, wouldn't it?
Is there a law against that?
There is a law against murder.
You don't seriously believe that I did it, do you?
You had motive. If Billy were to be convicted, you stand to inherit the lion's share of Sarah's estate.
What about Mrs. Cheney?
What about you, Mr. Wingate?
Forget it, Mason. I was nowhere near the lake that morning. And I have companions who will swear to it.
If Lisa Blake was your accomplice, you could have been on another planet.
This little talk is over. Why don't you just get out of here? Just get out!
Excuse me. Is there a problem here, Mr. Mason?
No. Mr. Wingate was just bidding me good night. Good night. Mr. Vickers, isn't it true that Lisa Blake failed to carry out your instructions because of greed? She wanted more money from you, and finally she had to change the plan. Finally, she had to change your plan.
You can't prove a word of this.
I think I can.
Sarah.
What about me, Vickers? You got me into this.
Sarah, I'm sorry. I didn't mean for any
Yes,
of
you
the...
did. You wanted Sarah Travis dead.
Shut up!
You wanted me to kill her. I didn't do that.
Shut up! Get her out of here!
Going down
Sarah.
and going down.
These people in custody. Sarah, let's just have... Let me go! Let me go! Let me go! Let me go!
I believe the Honorable District Attorney should end this by moving for a dismissal of all the charges against Mr. Travis. That motion, Mr. Prosecutor, is granted. The defendant is ordered released herewith. Case dismissed.
Thank you.
We're so glad you're all right.